right, this is the Eagle Point Community Development District. It is Thursday, May 7th, and it is approximately 5 p.m. We can start off calling the meeting to order and doing a roll call of our present board members here, and we can start right to my right. Ron Berkowitz.
William Hathaway.
Great. And I'm Andy Mendenhall, District Manager. Also, we have District Counsel.
Brian Camarino, District Counsel.
And also?
Louis Martinez, Field Manager.
And as well, we have your new district engineer here, one of the engineers from your new firm. So if you want to state your name for the record. Great. And I'll also note that we have a number of residents present, and we'll go forward with item number 2. Bear with me just a second, folks. So we had a statement from the chairman that he had asked if I could read at the beginning of the meeting. I apologize, I just got to get a little bit organized here. So I'm just going to read that real quick. This is from Kevin Gagne, Chair, and it says, I am also including this statement in the meeting materials. As I will not be in attendance, I'll be attending my daughter's graduation, which takes priority. Last year, I made a post explaining what it takes behind the scenes to maintain safety at the amenity pool after prior approaches, including full-time amenity staff and developer-provided security systems, fell well short. That post can easily be located for anyone interested in reading. When incidents occur at the amenity center, I have been the individual residents typically contact. I have personally reviewed countless hours of footage, constructed timelines, coordinated with management, and when necessary, responded in real time to call and meet law enforcement on site at times in the middle of the night. My reviews typically result in an initial incident report submitted to management. From there, management conducts its own independent video review, refines and finalizes the report, and prepares any corresponding resident communications. I've also coordinated as appropriate with the HOA and Council to further the goals of the community-wide safety and security. These efforts were not required as part of my role. I chose to take them on to ensure issues were addressed thoroughly and did not go unresolved. That level of involvement has required a significant amount of time, often at the expense of time with my family. Over time, the level of involvement has contributed to measurable improvements. However, it is also clear how quickly those efforts are overlooked. At the same time, a small number of individuals have escalated beyond normal disagreement or criticism. This has included repeated personal attacks, including those directed at my family. I expect and welcome disagreement on issues that come before the board, but personal attacks involving family are not. As a result, effective immediately, I am stepping down from my role as Amenity Center Liaison. I am rescinding my offer to serve as a primary point of contact for responding on-site or meeting law enforcement on behalf of the community. I will continue to serve in my capacity as a board member and chair, so that is unchanged. What I am changing is the level of responsibility I've taken beyond that role. Going forward, residents should continue to direct all amenity-related issues to management. Management will be fully responsible for handling these matters through established processes. Residents should reach out to Kai regarding all CDD-related issues, as no one is monitoring Facebook for complaints. Things posted there will not be seen or acted upon, as it is and has always been a private community page with no connection to the CDD or HOA board. To those residents who have reached out privately to express appreciation, I acknowledge and thank you. I regret that this step has become necessary. However, I believe that the circumstances leading to this decision are quite clear. The time I have dedicated beyond my standard board member responsibilities will now be redirected to where it should have been all along. Sincerely, Kevin Gagne. Okay. So moving on to item 3, we have supervisor requests and audience comments on specific items on the agenda. And just as a reminder, well, first I'll ask if there's any opening supervisor requests at this time, or if we're moving straight to audience comments. Okay, so we'll go into audience comments, and then Immediately after the audience comments, if anybody here is specifically here for the, they received a letter, a notice of violation, we're going to go into that immediately after, but we'll go to general audience comments first. And just to be clear, these audience comments, there's 2 times we do audience comments. We do this set of comments at the beginning of the meeting, which is very specifically related to any comments on agenda items. And then at the end of the meeting, we have audience comments that are more general in nature. So if you have anything you want to talk about, ask questions about, that generally is reserved for the comments at the end of the meeting. And right now, it's your opportunity to ask any questions or express any comments about agenda items only that the board might discuss, so they can get that information before they discuss. Because I see a couple new faces. Basically, if you can state your name for the record, and if you can keep your comments to 3 minutes, I'll raise my hand when you're at like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, because I hate cutting people off, but we want to be fair to everybody. And we're going to take all the comments first. Once we've received all the comments, if the board has any responses, they will do that after we've received all the comments. That way everybody gets an equal 3 times to speak without interruption. So that being said, I'll kind of start from the front and work my way to the back. So if you do have a comment, if you would just want to nod your head or wave your hand, I'll go ahead and call on you. Any comments at this time? Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Jim Casement. I live on Merkar Court. Kevin's statement confirms exactly what many of us have been saying for months. He personally reviewed countless hours of footage, built timelines, initiated incident reports, and coordinated enforcement actions. That's not governance, that's operational control. And when that same person identifies the alleged violation and sits as chair during hearings on those same matters, that is a breakdown of due process and a conflict of interest. That is the issue. Now let's talk about the impact. The district has already spent over $50 grand on a surveillance system that has created more division than benefits. During the same period, we saw the resignation of prior counsel, the management company, and the landscaping vendor. That's not a coincidence, that's a pattern. And now on the next agenda, we're discussing adding even more cameras. That's not responsible governance, that's doubling down on the roads and system. You don't spend more money until you fix the underlying process. Fix the process first, then decide if more investment is even justified. Right now, you have a system that's creating conflict, not solving problems. Which brings me to my next point. If this board is now acknowledging that this structure was wrong, then apply that standard consistently. Supervisor Rabah should step back from any liaison role that places a board member in direct operational control over vendors. Those roles belong with management, not supervisors. And what makes this especially ironic is that before joining the board, Rabah publicly criticized the sitting supervisor on February 1st, 2024 on Facebook, stating his words, "Your job as a board member is do what the majority wants and try to solve problems. That costs us money, not to make us spend more money." He also stated, "If you're on this board, that doesn't mean you're special." And finally, he said, "The good thing is that your seat is coming up for election this upcoming November, and all residents will have a say on who is going to represent them." At that time, many residents probably agreed with some of those statements, but today we have elimination of virtual attendance despite widespread resident opposition, a clear majority. Over $50,000 spent on surveillance infrastructure, discussion of adding even more cameras, and now paying for law enforcement who's standing right beside you, present at this meeting. Those are exactly the kind of concerns he himself was criticizing before joining this board. So here's the takeaway. Take the lesson that Kevin gave you today. Kevin stepped back from the role that crossed the line, and that was the right move. Now the rest of the board needs to get on the board. Correct the mistake. Reinitiate the virtual meetings, and understand this. You don't fix problems by controlling people. You fix them by fixing the process. And right now, the process is the problem.
Okay. Thank you. Any other resident comments at this time about agenda items? Okay. Seeing none, we will move into item number 3A. So this is notice of violation of district rules and suspension of amenity privileges. Yes, sir.
Law enforcement is here as well because we just want to spend money. Last meeting, there was a member of the community launching to another member community. Go ahead.
So, out of an abundance of caution, we invited law enforcement. Members of the community reached out, so we did. There was also a police report filed that's with the detective right now, deciding on if they're going to work with prosecution to arrest an individual or follow up or whatever they do. I don't understand that. So that's the reason why law enforcement is here now.
All right. That's
Okay,
good.
thank you. All right, so we're moving into the letters had been sent out to a few households regarding violations of district rules. And so everybody who may have received a letter has an opportunity to be here this evening to present to the board. So if folks are here for that, I'm just going to read off the address. If that is yourself, if you just want a motion, and what I would recommend is I'll give you, similar to the audience comments, give you 3 minutes to speak to the board regarding the letter, regarding the situation, and then ultimately the board from that will decide any additional steps. So the first address I had here was 8338 Avalon Loop. Is anybody here from that address? Okay, doesn't look like it. So board members, if you had a chance to look at this particular incident, as well as additional info that you would have received beyond just the letter. This was for some unauthorized credential access and unsupervised minors and abuse of some of the amenity equipment, essentially failing to comply with the district rules, that sort of thing. You know, you have the opportunity at this time, if you want to enforce a suspension or set a certain time period specific, you can certainly do that, and we can take care of that one.
Part of the damages.
This particular one, it is not.
So, and they're not here?
And not that I'm aware of. I read off the address.
The usual. Yeah.
Just move it forward until
That they show.
the later period.
Okay, so that one will stay suspended for now. Okay. The next one that we have is 8252 Avalon Loop, if anybody's here from that particular address. Okay. So, similar, if somebody's here, you guys, as a board, can sit in judgment. This one does have damage to the landscaping. So there's a cost associated with it, which when we have that, we do send that information as well, and we look to obviously try to recoup that. So really for this evening, you as a board are just specifically looking to make a determination based on suspension. So if you're consistent with the last one, do we want to keep that suspended?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, on this one, it doesn't, only one of the three attached to this actually says anything about additional damages.
Okay.
So, this one and, the third one,
Mm-hmm.
the 8235 Avalon, the suspension letter doesn't discuss the damages, only the one for the 8240. There's a blurb that says about destruction and damage of district property.
Got it.
So, I mean, basically what you sent out doesn't tell those two other residents that there's anything other than a suspension. So I don't know if that needs to be revised.
We can take a look to, I would have to look at each one individually, and I know they were sent out in packets with some of the background detail, so I would have to look at that, but we can certainly confirm. I did want to mention something, just because I reviewed my notes. There was one individual that called me, and it actually was 8252 Avalon Loop, and he did let me know, number one, that because of his work schedule, he would not be able to attend. He had also let me know that he addressed this particular issue with his son.
Is it the passenger?
Yes, his son was the passenger.
Oh, wait, yeah,
So this is Mr. Parasota. So I did have a pretty in-depth conversation with him. So the address didn't click with me right away, but
So the passenger, so you guys wanna, it's basically like somebody's drunk driving and somebody in the seat with him. Yeah. They're not gonna discuss it, like they have their fair share to speak or to do anything. I understand if you can't attend, but what do we want to rule on?
Whatever you guys want.
I don't want to rule on anything if they're not present to discuss their part.
So could you with the suspension?
Or just if that's what carries forward until we can get an actual conversation or how they reached out.
Would
Unless
you-
you think your conversation was enough?
So here's what I would say, generally speaking, from speaking to him, again, he's the only person that called. And he did specifically, kind of went over his work schedule with me and explained, the steps he had taken. So, you guys are still the decision maker. If it were me, I felt pretty confident that it would not be a future issue, just basically because it was being addressed. If you want, since I think his work schedule would be the same, he probably wouldn't be able to attend. I could always ask him if he could just submit something in email or writing, or
That's fine. If you're comfortable with it, as far as what was said. and what was discussed?
from talking to him, yes.
From what I heard, the kid was just a passenger. He didn't cause damage.
Yeah, and he did mention that as well. So, if that figures into any of it.
Yeah, we're just like, I think, yeah, just release the things.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and motion to reinstate his access for time served.
Okay. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. The next one I had was 8240 Avalon Loop. Is anybody here from that address? Okay, so that is one, let's see here, similar with documented damage to district property, landscaping, mulch, shell, irrigation components. Yeah. Yeah, this is, so that's one of the ones we got the proposal for. So, since you want to be consistent?
Yeah,
consistent. And
So as far as the damages, how does that get handled?
Well, so they basically get a letter, once we have the damages, we go to them, regarding specifically the damages, the costs, that sort of thing. Yeah, we have the details together. You would hope that they might pay, we have no way of levying that specifically on them.
Sure.
We basically can send them the bill.
Oh, we can take legal actions.
Yeah, you certainly could, sure.
So is someone sending them an actual letter that states out?
Yeah, I think
Itemized out,
the
any
letter.
kind of evidence if needed? Well, I'm sure people are gonna ask for proof,
Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
Do we have pictures of what the condition of the property was right before?
I don't think so offhand that we would have pictures
We're talking
before.
about the shell area over here, right?
Yes, that's my
That-
understanding.
That's been dissipating for time, and you mean to tell me one person coming in there cost $1,700 worth of damage?
I'm definitely not a landscaping expert, so it's hard for me to answer that question specifically. I know we had the landscaper look at it after the incident.
What do you mean visiting the time? What do you mean?
It may be in the freezers.
I don't know if we have a tower or a container, but there is ice in here.
Does he need EMS or not?
I know.
Does he need EMS or
Just
not?
send them one after the other. Yeah. We're charging them for free. It shouldn't take it that way, though.
Always got- Yep. No problem.
So what I'm asking is, if we're gonna charge somebody for the full cost of the repair of something that's deteriorated over time, then, and especially, the only way to, if they decide not to pay, then either you're gonna have to let it go, or take them to court. And you're gonna turn around and potentially go to court for something that dissipated over time, that you can't say that the amount of stuff they did caused the full damage to that whole area, as well as, I don't know where the mulch section is.
So did you see the area? Did you go check the area?
Oh, I've seen
Yeah.
right over
Did
there.
you see what
There's grass growing up in there, the ground's all
No, I'm not talking
uneven.
about the grass. Did you see the four-wheelers damage?
No,
Okay, then
see
you can
specific
see-
damage.
Yeah, we have pictures and video. When you go to court, the court's gonna
Well,
determine
I've
that.
seen the pictures in the violation,
Okay,
so,
yeah. Yeah, before and after. Well, I know before it was leveled up, no, it's not leveled up, and there's holes, I think it is correct.
So, generally speaking, when we have a circumstance like this, we would typically send the estimate, the photos, those sort of things, and that would be something, if we send it out and the person questions it, we can always come back to the board and say, here were the questions, or here's why they don't want it. So you always have that opportunity to discuss. For now, we're more specifically, do you want to keep the suspension in place,
Sure.
which I think at least
Yeah.
from the first one as an example, you might want to.
Sure. Yeah.
Is everybody good with that?
Right.
Okay. Okay. And actually, since we did a motion to reinstate the access for the one person, we should probably, because we've kept the suspension on 8338, 8240, and 8235, if we can just have a motion to keep those in place.
Make a motion to keep it in place, second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
nah, or at least for the first one.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, and then we have 8614 Merkar Court. Is anybody here for that one?
Actually,
Yeah.
you skipped this, sir.
Oh, 8235?
Yes.
I'm sorry, sir, you have the floor. If you would just want to state your name for the record.
Sam Mendenhall, I am homeowner there. The violator is my son. I know they did it. We weren't given like a price. This is my first time hearing about $1,700. There's no way my son caused $1,700 worth of damage. So I'll dispute that. But were they out there riding? They were. And I asked, when I first spoke to him about it, he said, well, Dad, that's where everybody goes to ride. So he's 14 years old in a neighborhood with nothing else to do. And if that's where all the kids are riding, it's better than, and I only say this because my son got hit on Park Road, right? So I fully understand why staying in the neighborhood makes sense. So if it's about a suspension, I'm not here to dispute any of that. I don't want to take up any more of your time. But $1,700, I can't do that.
It's fine. So what happened is, that's not he didn't cause it by himself, it's a group of kids. I see what you're talking about, and I really appreciate you being honest, at least appreciate that, to be honest with you. The problem is the damage is just not the shelf, it's irrigation. We have trees dead because of the irrigation damage. It's a big thing, you know what I'm trying to say? For the moment, we are not here to discuss the pricing exactly, just so you know this is what's happening. And then later you're gonna receive a letter with more details, you're more than welcome to come and we'll talk about it. But again, this area is here, it's not made for kids to ride. I understand, kids are kids, I was a kid all the time. But this is community money. And we're gonna end up, you know what I'm trying to say, if we give a break for somebody for something like this, we're gonna continue doing it. And you can imagine how this place is gonna look like down the road. So for the moment, we just, take it easy until you receive the next letter and see what happens.
Okay?
So back to Rob said that was just the shell thing, and as you heard Will's point too, as far as what was prior, what was done, we do have pictures of the damage that was done. But it wasn't just that, there was sprinkler heads that were broken, there was a whole bunch of things from, them literally racing around the whole part. So there's a lot of information that will be sent to you that actually has the evidence, I guess you could say in quotes, of what was broken, what was done. So, and then, clearly you have the right to dispute it, so when you get it, just see what it is and then go from there. That would be the best thing. So I don't know what the total is on and what every little thing is for, you know, that's itemized out in there, but I know the shells are just one of the charges. The irrigation one was the bigger one because the sprinkler heads were run over and the lines broken as well. So there's a little bit more than just the shells. So, but like I said, just wait till you get the package of what,
Yeah, we'll send that out.
We'll send out to you as far as what it is.
So, coming to the suspension for how long? How long have they been suspended?
They would have been suspended since notified of the incident, so that's, let's see. The date's not, March 6th and 7th, so since then.
For March. How much it is? 60? So should we go another month?
Yeah, I think is it, hold on, is there any prior for that address?
I do not have that listed right here as anything prior.
Okay. Yeah, I think the standard line would be the max you do is 90 and that's it.
So another month.
I wouldn't go past that for now.
Okay, so would somebody like to make that motion?
Motion.
Okay, so the motion is for a total of 90 days.
Correct.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second it. Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And when you have the info, when you receive it, you'll have my phone number. Give me a call if you want to discuss and go over any of the details. Okay, the next one we had was 8614 Merkar Court, sir.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Graham. I live at 8614 Merkar Court. We received a suspension in February due to an incident with my son Bryson. He and a group of other neighborhood children who are all listed as unidentified in here staggered into the pool, but he, and obviously I'll take responsibility, he was the first one that scanned in and brought one kid in, and through that apparently 7 other kids trickled in with them. From what was reported, you know, that each of them were letting each other in. He also brought his bike into the pool area because he's obsessed with that thing, no matter what I tell him. But, you know, I can only take responsibility for my kid. I know what he did wrong. He knows what he did wrong. You know, we've talked to him about behavior at the pool and supervision at the pool and all the things that should be happening. Like I said, I can't take responsibility for any of these other kids that are going as unlisted, but I can say that my kid messed up, you know, and we received a 30-day suspension in February, and then had no further communication, which was a little frustrating on my end, because then I was told I reached out to the company, was told our access would be reinstated as of May 1st, and then it was not. And then I received another notice after that saying that I had to come to this meeting, which is fine. I was luckily able to get somebody to cover my shift at work so I could be here in the evening. So the communication was a little confusing, I guess, just because there was a lot of back and forth. We were told 30-day suspension and we had the option to come, and we were told we had to come. But regardless, you know, I take responsibility for what my kid did. It won't happen again, I can promise you that. Like, the amenity center is something that I want to enjoy, and if he wants to enjoy it, he needs to follow the rules. So, you know, moving forward, that's our plan, is that, you know, the amenity center is for us as adults, and if you're gonna come, you need to respect the rules and respect the, you know, the rules that we have in place, and have the proper supervision, and I'm not sure how all of these other kids made it in here as well, because they all are from this neighborhood, but went as unidentified. So we've now received a 75-day suspension at this point for an incident that happened in February, and a notice that we received for a 30-day suspension. So at this point, I'm just asking for our access to be restored. You know, I've handled it. I've taken care of it with my child. We have mitigated the situation within my home. I don't expect there will be any further issues, and I'm just asking for.
I really appreciate your honesty too, you know. So it seems like the communication issue, your first violation with the kid thing happened when GMS were here. Then so we have
Yeah.
Gap
and
management
I-
company, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
kind of
if I'm,
got that.
and if I'm not mistaken, is your son, the 13 years old, that have a pass, which was issued by GMS.
Right.
Let me finish. So, you know, that's, to have nothing to do with you guys, it was GMS. Yeah, so, that's not okay, you know, 13. So, when it comes to the thing, the kids coming, you're responsible for your kid by the other ones. It's not like we're targeting you, that's the cause of having this policy in. We don't know, maybe those kids, they don't live here, but if they live here, you know, we'll be more than happy. If you can tell us who they are, we will definitely send them letters. I'm just trying to, but I think the best way to do this one is restore door access and block the 13-year-old boy pass, you know, because underage.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. And we were in our first year, we've only been here for about 6 months, we're still kind of learning the lay of the land and the rules and everything, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, but so you're a tenant, right?
Yeah,
That's your landlord's responsibility.
yeah.
He is responsible to let you know what the rules is. You know, when you buy the house, he knows the rules, so that's his job. You know what I'm trying to say? That's all it is.
Okay, so is that a motion then?
Real quick, how many devices do you have for your house?
So, I have like the pass on my phone, and then, my two sons had the key pass.
One is 16 and one is 13.
One is 16, one is 14.
14.
I would say the 14-year-old, is there somebody else in the house that access could go to?
Yeah,
Because I'm assuming you probably, I think you only got two, you probably had to pay for the third one.
we did, yeah, I have and so that's where I think some of the wires got crossed too, because I have an older son also, who is now 19, that does not live with us, but he visits, so I'm not sure if there was some, I don't know, miscommunication there, and that's how we ended up.
When it comes to this specific point, there is no confusion.
Okay.
It was your 13-year-old son.
No, I know it wasn't.
And even it's his picture in whatever you guys submitted, paper, that's him, it's clearly it.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. The problem was from the procurement company, they were supposed to tell you, hey, he's underage, we cannot issue him.
Okay.
So that's fine.
And I know that, so I can take responsibility for that, but yes, my spouse doesn't have access, so if we wanna just reassign that.
So the best way to do it is make sure they submit their driver license.
Okay.
Do we have the lease agreement on file? Since our tenant, lease agreement, and we already have lease agreement, driver license, so they can just transfer it to your spouses.
Yep,
Do I just send that to?
he sent to me. Yep. All right, did we have a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded. Any additional discussion?
No.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. And then number
Just-
6.
You
Yeah.
guys, if you're welcome to stay, but if you don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, it's up you guys up to you.
Just to clarify, so that'll be
Yeah,
effective
you did.
immediately then? or-
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Alright, thank you guys.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
I have a good night.
The last one I had was 8957 Windlass Cove. Is anybody here for that particular one?
That's the landlord for that tenant.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, which, Mr. Moon, that's the one where the landlord confirmed that the kid is 16?
Yes, at one point there was a
Communication.
correspondence. Yeah.
Maybe it's very disappointing for this one.
Yep. Okay. All right. So moving into staff reports, we have an engineer's report today. So let me just open up briefly by saying the good news is I have a very detailed email of our engineering projects that have been on hold because I sent it off to your previous engineer. So I will be working with Steven to get him that list, which includes some of our erosion issues, includes signs in the preservation type areas, also touching on the signage in some of the cul-de-sacs, and then obviously anything else we come up with if any of you want to feed it through me. Drainage as well, absolutely, and then probably most importantly, just to give you a preliminary, is we also, you may all recall, we had the discussion about your mitigation monitoring and making sure that we are only monitoring what we need to be, and then secondarily, seeing if, I'll say potentially if there's another firm that can provide it a little bit cheaper than the one you're currently using. So I'm prepared to get that over to your new engineering firm right away, but certainly he's here today. I'll let him introduce himself and we can go from there.
Yep, my name is Stephen Berley. The person that you probably, one thing to discuss would be a meeting attendance. I don't know what your past engineer did, if they were here all the time in person or.
So,
As needed, basically.
yeah, generally speaking as needed, I think, and I don't want to speak for the board, but what I've seen work really well in many years of doing this is we'll have projects just like we're going to have right now, and if you Robert is able to submit an engineer's report with any updates on those, we get it out to the board well ahead of the meeting. That way, if they have any questions, we can do that feedback before the meeting, and then they'll have a chance also in the meeting to make any of that public. Okay, here's what we're working on, here's the updates, that sort of stuff. And if something momentous comes up, then we can let you know to come out and whatnot. That's typically the way.
That's what they do.
Yeah, if everybody's good with that.
Our firm has worked with Andy for years now. Totally used to the CDD world. This is all we do. As needed is just fine. Whether you want us to be here in person, on a phone call, or the engineered report, totally agree with that. Totally comfortable with that. Just a little bit more background. I'm sure Andy kind of filled you in on what we do, but we're totally set up for this, which is different from most engineering firms. Most engineering firms, you call, they're worried about bigger projects, where CDDs are really, they inherit them because they were maybe the engineer record for the design community. We kind of pick up where that leaves off, where we're focused on maintenance and kind of keeping things, infrastructure the way it should be. The as-needed service is kind of what we do. And then the emphasis on, we understand you only have one time a month to meet and to make decisions. So we're set up to be on a more rapid schedule. I would not expect anybody to be out of the loop, or we don't have an update from the engineer or whatever. We work with Andy on other districts and are used to these processes too. So Robert Dvorak, who's the other side, my business partner, he's going to be most likely your point of contact for. He's just on vacation, so Andy asked me to come to the meeting just to do a little meet and greet and kind of onboard here. But I'm sure you get along with him great as well. He is a very seasoned engineer. He's been doing this for 30-something years. So I'm actually the less tenured person. So you're getting an even more tenured engineer. And yeah, anything you guys want to run by us or have any issues with Andy, or you have my contact information, Robert's information. Send us emails, whatever, bounce ideas off of. But the only thing that I would say in addition, I guess we could talk about this stuff offline once we get the kind of like punch list of things that you want to address. But usually when we onboard, take a look at your permits as far as compliance first. I know that's not a sexy topic as far as like, whatever, but it is something that we address for you guys too, as far as keeping everything compliance, like Andy and district management have compliance things. We'll go ahead and take a liberty to take a look at that stuff, give you a heads up on things that might come due from an administrative level. That's really it. The rest of it is just, we function like you guys function. You're dealing with incident reports or things that, come up and you need to address quickly. We're totally all used to that stuff. So I'm very confident we can serve you guys just like the rest of our clients, and look forward to working with you guys.
I mean, as long as,
Does he have a map? Does he have like the map and all that stuff? Or?
I think we have it.
Yeah, so we'll basically, we have certain documents, and if there's something that we're short on that, they identify, then we'll get in touch with your previous firm, and, these engineering firms are pretty good at transferring stuff across.
The last firm ghosted us for 2 months, more than 2 months.
Yeah. What was the other engineering? What was your past engineer?
It wasn't a big one in the CDD world.
But it wasn't the developer engineer. It was like a sub.
No, Jeff. What was Jeff's
Jeff
last
was the
name?
engineer himself.
Yeah, I'm trying to. A line engineer, yes, correct, yeah.
Okay.
So they aren't, I mean, I don't know if you've run up against
I do
them.
know them, they're kind of a one-man shop in Tampa,
Yeah,
or they're a bigger company that have a sales office over here. Yeah, I mean, it's not super pertinent, just send anything you guys have on file, I'll more than willing to go through
yeah.
it. You know.
Well, the,
As a matter of fact, it's just little things, not big a project. We have a
Yeah.
couple of them probably we're gonna need you on site because we're gonna need your opinion too when it comes to drain and stuff. Other than that,
absolutely.
it's like,
and some of the items, these, you know, these three main items, we already had, it was interesting because the engineer had gotten us maps, info, stuff like that, and then they just disappeared.
disappeared, yeah.
So we do have
Everything.
the
Okay, yeah.
engineering side. Yeah, I'm gonna ship you an email that has pretty much everything,
Yeah.
so.
Well, along the way, anything that we're missing, we're very used to that transition, and anything that you guys don't have, we have the capabilities to kind of facilitate getting any of that information. It's all public record.
Yeah.
So we're pretty privy to get all that stuff for you, so that I can get to Andy, so we have a place where, like a repository that
Yep.
exists, you know, kind of thing. So, sorry.
Perfect.
Sounds good, perfect. Thank you so much.
Any other questions for Stephen?
No, probably you're gonna hear from me soon so we can, the drainage issue, we need to take care of.
Absolutely, that's our specialty, we love that.
Before the rain season, I mean,
All right.
the rain season just dropped.
Well, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely,
Thanks.
yeah.
You can
You
take
wanna
off
say
if
more
you want,
about
or
what you
No,
need?
I think it was great to meet you guys, so you could put a face to who's you know, dealing with your situation. We're a small firm, so anybody you guys else other than me and Robert that you would meet with, field staff is very friendly as well, inspectors, things like that. And another benefit, I mean, this just goes to like how we operate, is we do regularly have like, say there is an emergency situation, we do have the staff to like, that are roving all the time. So there's gonna be many times where somebody will contact us and we're already here, like in the area, because we deal with a lot of
Sounds good.
CDDs on this side of town,
Sounds
so.
good.
Perfect.
Thank you
Great.
so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it. Thanks.
Well, have a good rest of the meeting, I'm
You too.
sure I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Have a good
Sounds good. So we'll move into item B, which is the field manager report. So Gary's no longer with Con. We have Lewis here this evening. He had produced this report, and of course, as well, equally important, you have a number of proposals that we'll go through in a second. So didn't know if anybody had any initial questions on the report or anything like that, or if you want to just jump into the proposals, or.
Now, something's missing in the report. I sent you an email this morning.
Yes, yeah, I understand there was a sidewalk concern that was missing from the report, so, and we do have, I'm sorry, we do have a printout of some pictures.
So what we're looking to address is, and of course,
Thank you.
it's just a finding that we have to do homework on, but what we've discovered is on Armada Way, just where you come up to where you make the turn to go out to the main entrance, there is a sidewalk where a resident extended their driveway.
The apron.
So they built out the side of the side, but they continued it all the way through to the curb, and they took a piece of the sidewalk off and ran grass there. So they ran the edge of their driveway, and then they extended the grass, and they removed some
I'm really sure.
sidewalk. So we have to do, let them know, ask what happened. There are before and after pictures of there was sidewalk there, and there's not sidewalk there now, there's grass there. So we just want to, give them a heads up, send them a letter, hear what they have to say, we have pictures of it, and then just go from there.
Yeah.
So, I had looked at this earlier as well, basically we can look at the property appraiser's website as well as the plat maps to
Yeah.
see that it's CDD property. My recommendation, we send them a letter just like you described, Ron,
Yeah.
and with those as picked, and these as well,
Yeah.
the maps and these showing ownership, and we can,
My understanding with the sidewalk is owned by us, because even the cracks, we don't have to fix them ourselves.
Mhm.
If it's our property, I don't know if he did get any permission from previous, I never heard about it. So yeah, he is more than welcome to present that to us, but if he doesn't have it, then we're gonna take a different direction. Alright.
Okay, fair enough. So we'll get a letter out, and let the board know of the response, and then any next steps from there.
Perfect. How
So,
many sidewalks correct we have, the biggest ones?
I wanna say there's 6, if I'm not mistaken.
6 of them?
Yeah.
Biggest one. So, because they need, it's a liability.
sure.
Get in touch with somebody,
Yeah.
get us an estimate. I mean, if we don't do it now, just budget for it for the next year. At the end of the day, they're not too big. It's little
Right.
sections that could be fixed. you
Yeah,
know.
little slabs.
Yeah, little slabs, you know, so just make sure you do that.
Okay. All right.
Louis, on the sidewalks, what did you find when you walked through as far as the ones on the outside that are broken as well?
There's one that's marked already, I don't know if the county did that, or, you know.
Yeah,
there's one-
it's a.
Yeah, up in
yeah,
the front there,
yeah.
so that's the only one that I seen that it was dropped out, but over by the entrance over here, there is a lip where it looks like it could be a trip hazard, you know, right? So they're not the worst I've ever seen. in
Yeah,
the
but try to
community.
get them before they get worse.
Yep, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
So the action is you're gonna get a quote on the picture to replace the sidewalks that are broken that you have?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a
Yep.
vendor that we used in another district not too far from here, so it should be pretty easy to
That sounds good.
get a quote. Okay, moving into the consideration of proposals. So the first two are unique compared to the rest of the proposals because they deal with the circumstance with Steadfast and the drainage work that they had done. So we had a chance to meet again, and I know there was an on-site meeting with the Steadfast representative also. Myself and Lewis and Gary as well, we met separately met with Kevin to talk about the circumstance and kind of go over the history of it. One of the things that he did was provide these two additional quotes as opportunities for the board, basically to fix the issue as it exists, which I understand and recognize the board feels that that's the work they should have done by what they were told. But obviously, I still need to present it to you because that's what they put forth.
So here's what I would say with these, now that we have the new engineer, this is right in his backyard for him to look at. I don't think we should even address these proposals.
Nothing.
As
Okay.
far as, I mean, obviously, everyone else, you want to have a say on it, but, and then just the big one would call the pipe cleaning.
Mhm.
That was brought up to us by, the engineer, the previous engineer.
Okay.
He told, he was there, it actually happens to be in my front yard, but he was there. And he told me, he goes, oh, you notice how the ponds are, and he walked me in the back, and showed me the wall thing between, and he's like, that's because you got blockage through here. He goes, that's why your ponds are even on each side, and the one across the street from me is about this much underwater.
Okay.
So we were going off of him, and this has been months in the making, and I'm like, you know what, let's just reset. We have a new engineer, let him look at it, give
Okay.
him his professional opinion, let him work with Lewis and whatever, as far as,
So we'll
cleaning
get
up that pipe, if he still recommends it.
yeah. So we'll get them the history of it.
And we're gonna set a date, maybe you and me and him, and the engineer himself, so we can kind of go out.
All on the same page.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. And we have not paid the Steadfast invoice, just so you're all aware.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Okay.
I guess we have to address that eventually. Next time, we'll put it on. If we don't pay it by.
well, so yeah. To be honest with you, it probably would the benefit of your new engineer giving you some details, probably potentially gives you support to speak with Steadfast and say, hey, here's what the engineer says. Should be done, should have been done, any of that. I really don't know, I'm speculating.
The problem with them, we told them exactly what the engineer told us to do, which that's what Lewis sent, and I have Lewis in there.
Mhm.
They went ahead and they did a completely different scoop of work. That's what the problem is.
Right, but they didn't bill us for what we asked them to do. They billed us for what they did. And which happens, and here's where the misunderstanding is. He's saying it's what Gary told him. He wrote up the quote based on what Gary told him, and he performed the work. So if you just want to look at it that way, we probably bound to that. It was a quote, we agreed to it, he performed the service, we did it.
Who did provide the?
Right, but that's where now we have to take a step back.
Yeah.
What was provided to Gary was not what was translated to.
I mean, I've seen Lewis email.
Yeah, and
It's
it
clearly
is,
he asked him to
so
do
that's why I'm
service.
saying it needs to be discussed as who's responsible for paying what? Are we responsible for paying it at all? And obviously, if someone did the work and it is beneficial to us in one aspect, with the one side where they cleaned out, that was part of it already. Well, I think what's really in question is, we didn't ask for, I think it's like $1,750, $1,800. They did street cleaning. So what they did was, they pulled the grates up, they did the storm drains.
Okay.
We never asked for that. We asked for the drains to be in the, I'll call it the conservation areas,
Yeah.
to be worked on.
Which is
And it was,
there's some drain as well.
they're considered storm drains as well, but they're not the street drains.
Yeah, got
So
it.
that was not addressed. And if you look at it, not that anyone here would need to know, but our street storm drains do not connect to the ponds.
At all.
So whatever he did had no effect on the ponds
Got it.
whatsoever. You know, and I understand he outsourced that part, so they probably just, you know, the vendor who came just did what they were told to do on their ticket, and they did it. So it's gonna have to probably be run by the engineer. I'm sure Steadfast wants to get paid for what they did. We just have to make a decision who's responsible for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
got it. Okay, so more to come on that then. The item 2C is red line cooling and heating. So this is essentially maintenance service for your HVAC.
Let me speak on that.
Yeah, go right
Our
ahead.
AC units are terrible. Remember when you said the AC units are not over there on the top? The AC units are not over, it's struggling. It's in the closet, it's in the attic.
It's not on top.
yeah.
You don't have the safety hazard.
Well, it's no, but the safety hazard, the problem is the AC unit is struggling. Never been cleaned, no
So
filters.
it's in
no-
that room?
Yes.
Which means nothing else is supposed to be in there.
Exactly.
Putting all that crap in there is damaging.
So that's
We
why-
got to the part
That's why the shed
We'll get to the part two. Anyway, so the AC units, I know this guy specifically myself. I mean, even in his quote, he gave us like $400 credit because I know him. The service supposed to cost even more. But he's going to clean actually this unit and the units outside from the bathroom. They're terrible. They said we're this close. You want to have close, right? So we're this close for the units to be fried basically. This is something that needs to be as soon as possible. So he's given us actually a lot of free things in the bid itself. Anybody have a question about the proposal?
No, just one thing to point out as well is for I think 3 years, 4 years that this building, there's been no maintenance and no filters. So they've been running without filters for years. That's why they have to wash out the machines. The guy's a nice guy. He's got a pretty intensive detail on what it was. Maybe there was filters at one point, and then they pulled them to change them. They never bought them and replace them, but it's been going for years without
The
filters.
coil is dirty, the blower is dirty, which means they have a lot of dust and stuff on it, which means the AC unit will not work efficiently. But the big problem ones, the big one outside, the bathroom ones, the men and the women bathroom ones, that we should be addressed as soon as possible, which is going to perform this. Just want to mention when you go through these proposals, did you print it?
Yes.
They're going to be signed tonight and going to be, the vendors notified immediately tomorrow or maximum Monday.
Sure.
Because we need things done fast. So anybody have questions about that?
Okay.
No.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I motion that.
All right. Do we have a second?
I'll say
Seconded. Any additional discussion? Hearing none.
one more question on that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a contract,
A year.
an annual contract but as far as the maintenance, how many times a year, how many times?
It's everything great, but I'm assuming it's the one, but the thing is the cleaning, deep cleaning, and it's just to be done. It's more something we do every year. Every
2
month.
times a year for the normal.
Yeah, but that's big, one.
Once a year, yeah. That's including the coil, the tank, the unit outside and everything. All right.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. So that moves us into item D, which is we have a fence post repair. The proposal is from Florida Commercial Care, and the amount is $893.60.
That's the one outside those, right?
So for those, that's the one, out on Park Road, when you drive by, we have a fence that comes up, you see the 2 ponds in there. The gate's always broken in half, it's actually posted broken as well, so it's got to be replaced.
So whenever we have to place it. Because if
It's
you
gonna
let it,
be,
it's going to just get.
more repaired.
Yeah, more
They
repaired,
gotta put
yeah.
concrete in there. There's never been concrete poured in the post or anything like that.
Yeah. It was just one of those things. Anyway, that needs to be done the right way, and as I told you last time, make sure to have a lock on it.
Which I already purchased.
You already did, yeah, so that's good. I motion for that.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
Actually, I mean, I'm good with this, but I know at one point we used to want 3 quotes for things, especially things that aren't urgent, have to be taken care of, but, I mean, this one,
How about you got us quotes?
this was the management company's one.
Yeah, what did you mention during that time then? Anyway, let's keep going.
Oh, and we can definitely get quotes. Sometimes for speed and with the low dollar ones, like under $1,000. Like a lot of times, districts will say, okay, anything over $5,000, get 3 quotes, just because sometimes getting quotes is difficult in 1 month's time period.
You should catch nothing during the turnover.
What?
You should catch nothing during the turnover. It's like whatever, yeah.
Okay. The next one, item E, is Florida Commercial Care. This is for the gazebo, cabanas, and the pool area. This is a relatively expensive quote, which, you know, in the long run, we could get additional quotes on. My suggestion anyway would be that you probably would not want to take care of this in this year, at least in this form. You know, from a safety aspect, we can do things to fix the gazebo for, you know, now. For longer ranging plan, if you guys want to replace it, make it consistent with everything out there,
Should budget for it.
probably should budget for
And
it.
I think the best way to do it is to, because that $17,000 is literally a rip-off for that kind of work, you know. We could probably purchase the materials ourselves. We just need to, you know, how many gazebos we're gonna need. I would say if we're gonna do something like that, you are not putting 4, might as well put like 9 of them, you know, we're spending the money. How much was it, unit, 400?
I'm gonna say about 4. Yeah, they're good ones, you know.
The good ones, yeah.
You wanna pay for something that's got some quality.
Yeah, correct.
And they're hard top, so obviously the material on top right now is, you know, got some holes in it and all that stuff, so.
Correct.
So for this one, we're just getting quotes to understand cost and if we want to add it to the budget for next year.
Yeah, something to consider.
So it's been mentioned before by people in the community about, how many gazebos we have and they want more. It would be nice if someone pointed out the line on the other side, so just as a follow-up, we got quotes for them. And then we'll have to vote if we want to put it in the budget and if it's something that we want to, add.
Yeah.
into
Does-
the community.
That makes sense for everybody, and so we can talk about it a little bit more in the budget discussions next meeting as well.
Perfect.
Okay? That takes us to our attorney, Bryant, so I'll go ahead and give him the floor.
Hello, everyone. I'm stepping in for Michelle Reiss today, who had a conflict this evening. So a couple of things. We handled an engineering contract. We sent that to Andy to Kai Management. That got completed, so that is, we checked that off the list. We completed the license agreement for the signage on I-75. That was also sent to Andy. We're just missing the monthly rent amount. The board needs to decide that, I believe, or come to an
We
agreement.
decided 500.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what the board. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're all set, and the representative who's going to pay it has agreed to it, and they've signed off. So we should start getting that.
Speaking of outside, what the Ellen did for us?
Oh, I was going to talk about that in my report.
So is it
I don't wanna get-
retroactive from when they started putting it up?
They did not agree to do that. That was one of the things I brought up 2 months ago. We tried to get them to do it for the past year, and they were not interested in doing that.
Okay. How about since they put the new one up?
I honestly, I didn't realize there was a new one up. Yeah.
So basically, then they just put a new one.
Okay.
So what they did was they had a Del Web, I'm sure most people know, they had a Del Web for the community here, and then they took it down, and if you read they put a new Del Web up for the new community.
Gotcha.
You know.
So, at least from the discussions, as when I was talking to him about, we'd really like to have the previous year. In general, he said they were only interested in doing it from the point of them signing this agreement that they just signed. So I'm guessing that would be his same response, that now you have a
So
signed
you just
agreement.
run by 'em
Yeah,
as far
of
as-
course.
We're not worried about the old signage and the old community, we're talking about the new.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll take that down. Get in touch with
If
them.
not, you just tell him to take down the sign, and then he can eat that sign for $5,000 maybe. Or he'll give us $1,000.
Like
Negotiate I'll give you get it from them.
So let me make sure I understand completely. Is there 2 signs out there?
No, there's one big sign, it's one.
One big sign.
One large sign
Right.
that's put on the wall.
Okay,
So
got it.
there was one large one that
Yeah.
they took down, and they put a brand new one up, and it does say Del Webb, but it doesn't say that property.
Understand.
It calls for a different property. So I'm saying is, yeah, we'll eat last year, that's fine, I understand that, but say, it's only fair that they pay for when they put the new sign up.
Yeah.
So
Well.
the new sign going forward.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and I see what you're saying. So we just need to find out when
Yeah.
that started, the new
Yeah,
sign.
yeah.
Understand completely now. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate the clarification. Sorry, I jumped on your topics there.
Fine. Another item, a couple of records requests have been handled by Kai. Those have been, I believe they've been, for the most part, completed.
There's still one outstanding.
Okay,
Yep, recent one.
okay.
So
Which is about?
it's additional request of data from the Hathaway request originally, but it's a different separate request.
What they request this time?
I can forward it on to the board, but basically information for the most part related to some of the data related to emails, that sort of thing. Like I'm trying to, yeah, that would be a good way to put it. Yeah, I was trying to think of the technical way to describe it. But again, I'll forward that out to the board. That way you have the details.
Is that part of a basic FOIA request? I don't know.
So that was a question I was going to confer with district council. I just hadn't had the chance to yet, whether that falls into the public records request aspect.
Yeah, he's asking about the records request and what is it? what's
So
being
so
requested, the
it's
security
it's more specific. And again, I know Michelle's seen this, so I don't want to catch you off guard. But basically, so it's as described, kind of like metadata, behind the scenes data of email.
cameras? Okay.
And so didn't know offhand if that falls into the realm of public records, because it's, you know, me thinking, not being an expert, it's kind of underneath it, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So my question is this gonna handle as a separate one? Is this gonna be a feed connected to it?
So if it would, philosophically, yes. However, for this particular data, if it is a public record, it's something we can gather very quickly and easily, so that there wouldn't be a fee for this.
Okay, sounds good. If it's part of the normal FOIA or extension of it, then it is what it is.
Yeah, you know, again, I'm not a legal person, so I just don't know what realm that falls into, but I had planned on reaching out to y'all and asking.
So that'll be on the way to our office then?
Yes, correct. Well, Michelle has it, but
Okay.
she has the initial request, but that was a question I was gonna send to her, so.
Understood.
And again, I'll forward it out to everybody.
And then, other than that, we received a petition from the residents at 11616, essentially challenging the board's decision at the last meeting, claiming that the rule regarding virtual meetings was changed without proper notice. We responded. It's our position that the resident not only doesn't have standing to challenge the rule, because the rule is it applies only to board's attendance at board meetings, but also the board simply just changed its policy regarding Microsoft Teams. It didn't change the requirement or the ability to call in by phone if you still like. So it's our position that the rule wasn't amended. But if the board does want to foreclose the ability for board members to call in, then at that point we would need to go through the formal notice hearing and amendment process. So
Which resident is that? Who's that? What's his name?
the owner of 11616 Armada.
Bill? Where he is? I don't see him here. Alright.
It is, yeah, he presented it at the last meeting.
Yeah, well, usual. Let's get going.
So yeah, so we responded to that. That's it for me. I was gonna maybe comment on the Steadfast thing, but we don't have to reopen it if we don't want to.
Alright, that's better.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, thank you. Any questions for district council?
You guys are tracking the expenses when it comes to the FOIA request, right?
I believe so. If
Yeah,
not,
we
I'll.
have to.
The separate track.
Because during, since we're preparing for the, the next meeting, next year's
Budget,
budget,
yeah.
we need to, have a line item for it. It's costly, seems like it. So we need to, budget for it properly for next year.
Sure. Okay, moving into the manager report, I'll go through the couple of off-agenda items first. The first big one is we'll be talking about the budget at the next meeting. We will look to approve the preliminary budget that goes off to the county. So that is the high water mark. Whatever you all as a board approve at that time, we won't be able to go higher than, and then we'll spend the next 3 months or 2 months rather, we can make any changes. We just can't go higher. So what I would ask is, as far as your guys' thoughts related to the district, if you have anything in mind as far as projects, the gazebo's one example. We put it on a list, so to speak. So if you want to email me individually, anything that you think of, enhancements, projects, changes, I'll kind of keep the running list, and then I'll bring it into the public forum for you guys to kind of discuss, and then we'll look to, again, approve that preliminary budget as well as set the specific date for the public hearing at the next meeting. So we can talk about that, yeah. So what we wind up having is, you're really, ultimately you're adopting your operational budget, but the reserves are a big part of it because we talk about, or we will talk about, where you stand right now, and also if in your operational budget you want to have anything that you build towards the reserves, that sort of stuff.
So you're going to be working on it now, so maybe you're going to have an audit for it, or for what we spent for this last year, or how are you going to do it usually?
Yeah, so basically what we'll wind up doing is we'll look at a couple things. First, we'll look at exactly how you're trending for this year through the latest actuals, and so we'll do some analysis to say, obviously, if you're looking like by the end of the year you're going to be over or under budget on certain line items. And then we'll also be looking at all of your contracts for any potential increases. We'll also look at utilities and insurance, and we build in increases there on what historically we see. So for example, insurance is always, at least you budget 15% more. Utilities is somewhere between 5 and 8% more. So we'll kind of look at each line item, and there'll be some rationale for any changes that we make. But a lot of it, the big part of it, is really based on your actuals.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest project,
sorry.
basically, look, we're going to have that, as you said, the only probably is the gazebo,
Yeah.
which I don't think is going to be completely fine, it's not a big deal. Maybe we might even not need to budget for it specifically, because we already have some.
Well, you have repairs and maintenance.
Yeah. I mean, it won't be like, it won't be an issue, so that's fine.
And that's the thing. You might be able to,
Like irrigation, $25,000 a year for irrigation, and we spent $8,000 just to repair the entire thing, and the rest we spent in other projects. So there's always some money to move around.
You always have the ability to move within the budget, so that's not a problem at all. We had so after the Easter event that was held, Heather, who had coordinated the purchase of some supplies for it, the board had authorized $500. The actual total bill came in at $563. I'm rounding up. It was like $562 and something. So we did process, obviously only up to what the board had authorized, but I did mention that I would come back to the board for consideration for the additional dollars, the $63, just rounding again.
You have receipts?
Yeah, she had receipts for everything. So if anybody would like to make a motion. All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second? Seconded. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay. Moving into item A, we have consideration of shed. So we've talked a lot about storage and options, and we do have what was included in your package is 2 exhibits, 14 and 15, 2 different options for an internal shed, for lack of better words, and for the board's consideration and discussion.
I think the smaller one is a better option. My plan is to put it in the gaming room. We have a lot of things that need to be moved from here, and there's some stuff outside, and that's big enough. So it should be completely fine.
So to be clear on this, is not the outdoor shed that was first thought of, that we put out there, it was like $70,000, and we would say, oh, maybe we need one of those, but that would be something for budgeting for next year, if we even still This is more, think of like a closet that would be inside, would be up against one of the walls out there.
Between
that
the
we're
two
allowed
windows.
to attach to. Because that closet will always be needs the unit and it's causing problems for all the vents and, filtered, non-filtered stuff until we get it done. But, we run the risk of all the, I guess you could say, if we don't take care of it, the airflow is terrible, we could damage all the equipment we have, and then, you know, it would cost us a lot more in the long run. So the small little is just more or less a closet to put some of the, because right now it's in my garage, the Christmas lights, the Christmas tree, all that stuff, we can put in there, as well as everything that's in the closet, we were able to make sure it all fit in there. And then also, just to mention, you probably get some kind of little fan that attaches to the door to blow air in for all the equipment in there, the electronic equipment as well. So before we get started with all that, we just wanted to come up with a solution. This little one for $3.99, actually works perfect as far as measurements, measured it out and fit all that. So there's no concern of it being outdoor shed, it's actually inside, and that's more of a closet than an actual shed.
And installation, it could be, so this is the way it is, but if we were to, we talked to Lewis about it, if we were, it's gonna fall something, and brackets, you know, to tie it to it, then it won't move it. But one thing I want to mention about this specific one, which is my preferred one, because the other one's too big, you know, this one should be fine. It's I have a Casement membership, so if it's approved today, I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow, it's gonna be probably ready for installation Monday or something like that, but what I'm gonna do with taxes though.
So we can get you, in fact, I can email it off to you right now. The district has an exempt certificate, you just present it.
Okay, sounds good. That sounds good. Since we're talking about this stuff here, when it comes to little maintenance things, it's just ridiculous to wait until a month to replace a light fixture or something like that. You know what I'm trying to say? Or handles or stuff like that. So I think moving forward, if you guys really not good at, because I'm the one who works with Lewis a lot, for like items like they need to be replaced immediately, you're gonna wait until a month. Like the door handles will be broken because somebody took the key from here, and we changed the key code because now every vendor has its own key and key fob because it's been nothing but a nightmare. Keys are missing, keys are broken inside of the thing. So that's one thing. And if you got good with it, so little maintenance stuff like let's say a spotlight or something, we'll wait until the next meeting to approve a spot. It needs to be replaced and fixed here. Are you good with it?
So you're asking for a discretionary amount that we can spend in relationship to projects and stuff that we're doing?
Like normal maintenance, that's what we have a maintenance guy.
Who would hold the discretionary card?
No,
Or
because
is
they
it
already
just-
have it, they already have it, Amazon card.
Yeah, we have, there is an Eagle Point card essentially.
Is there a discretionary limit set on it already?
I'm trying to remember offhand, I think it's
it was.
5,000 or something,
Yeah.
but that's for
Altogether.
just general purchases. So that, in other words, that wasn't like, hey, use that card up to 5,000 anytime you need it. We just have a 5,000 limit because potentially the board could approve something that might
If
be.
the sprinkler had broken, it was spewing out water, and it was an emergency call out, we're not gonna wait till we fix it. Someone's gonna come immediately and fix it.
Yeah.
And that's what that card's for. Right?
Well,
Sprinklers is different. But
yeah, the
talking
card's
about-
more purchases.
Yeah, I'm talking about like this door handles, now we have
Yeah.
two of them are
Yeah.
broken. Did you unlock the other one?
Yeah, I did for the.
What's inside it?
It's all their cleaning supplies.
All cleaning supplies, so
Yeah.
that's where she can get in
Yeah,
there.
she's able to pressure wash now.
She have her keys, right?
Yes.
Okay, we have that. So yeah, the code, don't share it with anybody, no, that's it. Any vendor, don't share the code. I mean, if it's an emergency, maybe, or if you're around here.
Okay.
So yeah, what do you guys think about that?
That's fine.
You good?
Just what's the amount?
Yeah, what's the amount we should go with? What do you think, Louis, like normal maintenance, what's the amount? Put it 1,000 just in case to give us an idea.
Yeah, two would be nowhere near.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Door handles like $60 if it happens to
Yeah.
happen, things like that.
Correct.
Okay, so that sounds like the start to a motion if anybody would like to make it.
I'm motioning.
Okay. Do we have a second to that motion? All right, seconded. Any additional discussion?
So what's the amount?
1,000?
What is
I mean,
wait a second. You need to see, what is it, you have a problem with it?
Shake my head, yes.
Oh,
That says yes,
so you have
okay.
a problem with it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So taking a step back, did we want to move forward with either of the shed options? Sounded like,
Yes, the $400 one, I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow. You good with that?
That's fine.
How are we
Okay.
gonna secure this as far as inside? Like,
We need
people
to-
open, is
There's
this
a
gonna be
lot.
open access to any?
Usually, actually,
There's
there's a lot.
a lot on it, but we can get something a little bit more.
And what is that?
I know, we have to come up with a
We've
little
seen
more
people
robust-
damage doors, hop
Yeah.
fences.
And that's why we have cameras. And there's what we want to steal a Christmas list from there. We're just trying to get rid of whatever stuff we have over there. That's all.
People damage the broken
Yeah, that's why.
air hockey table, so
It's a
we
good point.
have kids going in there playing, kicking toys, pulling
Doesn't
stuff
matter of
apart.
fact, doesn't matter of fact what we're gonna do with that room. That's another discussion for down the road. Do we wanna keep that room like a gaming room? Keep it to the next meeting or something like that, but for the moment, yeah, that's what it is.
We agreed to purchase the smaller shed, but we could also look into if we want to get maybe a little bit more robust as a lock or something that is offered by it before it.
It's a lot, yeah, but.
Okay. So we had a motion, we didn't have a second yet. Would anybody like to second that? All right, and we've had some discussion. If there's no additional discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. So then we'll move into consideration of landscaping proposals. We have a few proposals here. We can go one by one. The first one, Exhibit 16, is for crushed shell installation in the overflow parking adjacent to the playground area, and that quote was for $1,760.
Which that's related to the damages, that one and the irrigation, so that's something you need to send it to the parents later to see what it can go with. It's not something you should pull the trigger now because it caused the damage. Yeah, that one, you have sprinklers if I'm mistaken too. There's another for sprinklers.
Yeah, it does not appear to be on here, but did you want to hold that as
Yeah.
well anyway? So,
Yeah, I think so.
so we'll make, okay, so we'll hold those. So that would take us to the second one, which is the pine bark mulch installation around the clubhouse for $468.
That's the same one too with them.
Oh, that goes with it? I'm sorry. Okay, so we'll go to number 3, which is the one-time retention pond treatment on Moonsail Drive, Exhibit 18 for $458.
That's the same one, the Steadfast, give us like a $500 one. It's the same price, so I think we should just hold into it and see what we can do with the engineer.
Okay, fair enough. So, item number 4 is U.S. Lawns tree cutting in front of the clubhouse and on the entrance at Moonsail Drive for $450.
Alright, so, palm tree here by the door, and then they said, yeah, it's dead. It's not, we tried so hard to bring it back, and it's a very expensive palm tree. Easily $5,000 to replace the side of the palm tree. So the plan is, this is my plan. We need to be on the same page. To take it down, we don't have to take it down. And put instead of costing us like $5,000 to put another palm tree right there, which is going to run the risk to die again, so we just put like a nice American flag, a nice pole on it, and we're done with it.
We should get quotes for that.
Yeah. What do you guys think about
So
it?
I like that idea, but not to confuse it. First thing is, the tree has to come down regardless, so
Yeah.
we have to go on that, and then we'll, work with the cottage.
Taking it down, as it says in a proposal, it had nothing to do with the
Something
stuff.
like that.
But I was talking to Francisco, he said it's gonna cost us maybe around $600 for the meter to run the machine and do it, if we won't do it right.
Yeah.
So if you want guys allow me the amount of money if we need to do that, or you guys can wait until we get a different
But we still have to get the quote for, we could use them, but they
Yeah.
give us a quote, 'cause we still have to get a quote for the, flame pole, if that's what we want to do. But I'm saying, let them take the
You
tree
wanna
down.
wait for it until next time?
No,
The-
if you can just send something over, if they give us a
Well,
quote.
I think that's what it is, it's gonna need an approval, that's why I asked for a price, he said it's
Yeah.
like $500,
I
$600.
understand.
So you guys can either approve that for me to approve it for them, or we just wait until next meeting, they will put a proposal. What do you guys
Yeah,
think?
I'm okay with either one. I'm okay with either one.
Marty?
Either one for me, I mean, if you wanna.
And are you close if we do 600?
I think, he says it should be fine, I mean, if it's too much, we just have to wait.
Yeah.
Really, what do you think?
I mean, either way, you could either, I mean, if you're gonna come back with looking at what you're gonna replace it with. It's not like this stump has to be ground now, but, I mean, it's gonna have to get removed one way or the other.
Yeah, so why don't we do this? We'll just do up to 600, if it's more than that,
We just come
then,
up
then, yeah, because it's
with.
not,
Palms are typically not that deep.
Not sure that bad. The problem is it's right up the door. It's gotta come
The
down.
thing is, if you guys wanna relocate the flag, first of all, what do you think about the flag?
I don't think it,
What do you,
it's fine. It's fine.
what do you think about the flag?
We already have that one flagpole in the building, don't we?
If you consider that a flag.
You want a flag pole.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about it, so are you in or out for the case?
I mean, I see what the cost is.
Yeah.
and-
So, which means you're open to it? All right, perfect. The location of that's the other thing I was thinking, if you guys wanna cost us $500 or so, we can always cut the tree and cover it with mulch and relocate it, right? But the position of that tree, the full flag is not nice on that,
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
Yes. Well, first,
Alright,
so let's
get the tree.
let's get the tree in first.
Yeah.
So let's just,
So the 450, I'm sorry, 450?
Uh-huh,
Would anybody like to make that motion?
aye.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded. We've had a bunch of discussion. If anything else on that one?
Up to $600 for the
Yeah.
stump, right?
So is that 600 additional or six?
Additional.
Okay, gotcha. So we're including that as part of the motion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Finally, item C is consideration of the Car Lab window tinting proposal for $456, and that was Exhibit 20, respectively.
So I got that quote to, I think there's 2 windows. Louis already fixed the blinds. I think that's
Okay.
just a-
Okay, no problem.
Do we want to ratify that then? Just if, make a motion to ratify the action?
Yeah.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any additional discussion? Hearing
What
none?
are we ratifying?
The car,
Window tinting.
We wanted to hit these windows here, but then they were able to fix the blinds and more.
It's
So,
400 something for one window. I mean, it will look nice.
So what I'm saying is, so
it did not. It did not.
So why are we taking a motion to not do something that, I mean, it's fine.
oh, I'm sorry, maybe I'm confused. I thought I overheard that it was done. It's not done.
No, no.
Oh, okay. No, you're right then,
Yeah,
William.
that's what I was wondering, I was like, why are we?
No, I
ratifying
misheard.
to Not do something.
I apologize. I was grabbing the exempt certificate and I heard wrong. All right, so item 5D is the presentation of qualified voters. So we do this every year at this time. We basically read into the public the amount of registered voters in the district, and currently that is 631. So just a FYI to yourselves and your
How much?
residents. 631 registered electors.
So 62 homeowners is not the majority. Nothing from me too. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Keep going.
Item 6 is the consent agenda. We have your 2 regular items. First is the unaudited March 2026 financials, and then second is the approval of the meeting minutes for April 2nd of 2026. So to start this off, I'll ask if there's a motion to approve the consent agenda.
The minutes?
It would be the minutes and the financials.
I approve it. Nice.
Okay, and do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded. And now, any discussion, questions, comments?
I have 2.
Okay.
First, is there a particular reason why we ended up paying like 6 months of interest at one time?
Because they were sending their invoices to your previous management company?
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Since it went back to October 1st.
Yeah, and
So
that
we should have
happens.
paid the late fee even though they sent it to the wrong.
I'll have to, was the late fee, I don't have the invoice in front of me. Was it
It
included
had
on it?
4 months combined for $649.99.
Okay,
And it's $155, I think.
so we'll follow up with them, just to see if there was late fees charged, then definitely there shouldn't be. Yeah, so that's an easy one.
Actually, I'll take it back, there's 3. In the financials also, it says duplicate payment, did we pay Frontier twice for the same bill? It's the same amount and you actually have written in the register duplicate payment.
It could be. I can check with the
And it has
accountant
the
on that.
same March through April timeframe.
Yeah, if we did, and especially if it's noted as a duplicate, then we would have gotten a refund for it, but I'll double check.
And then the other aspect I have is in regards to the minutes. I know I had sent you something after the meeting, and it looks like the minutes were still drafted with saying all in favor when I had mentioned that nobody on the team's call heard the first 15, 20 minutes of the meeting. So I did not hear anything about that that the board had voted that I could vote virtually.
Gotcha. So it should
So I
be,
said every one of those needs to reflect that I did not respond
okay.
on anything since I didn't know that I was eligible to vote.
So we can change that, instead of the all in favor. Probably makes sense to just said,
All none.
yeah, 4 to 0 or of that nature, if that works.
But isn't it funny, the day of the meeting, technical should happen. Wow.
Okay. Anything else? All
What
right.
happened with the sign?
So, oh yeah, I was going to get to
See?
that next. Let's first, if there's nothing else on the consent agenda, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and that's as amended with those suggestions. So the inland home signs, I contacted a couple times the representative that I believe is sitting in the home, and she was great, really nice, friendly, understood completely. However, it was, the typical above my pay grade. So she had reached out initially, and when I didn't hear, she reached out to her higher ups, and when I didn't hear anything back, I followed up with her a week later, and at that point, she gave me contact information for 2 representatives that's part of their corporate office, and I reached out to them. I did not hear anything back from them. So with that particular sign, it's on your property. We've reached out, so as a board, if you want a motion to remove it, we can look to remove it.
I know, but.
It's for the orange flag. The orange flag. Yeah, well, they would be in my property.
And I will tell you that at least comparatively, the folks at the community here, don't like the name, at the top of the road, right? Del Webb, yes. So they're going through the same exact process right now because they actually came to us thinking that the CDD had something to do with those signs. But as you can see, there's the wooden sign on their corner, and they're having the same lack of response.
Are we now responsible for it and making sure it's not damaged?
Well, I think the proper thing to do would be, I have a contact. I can let her know that, look, I reached out to your corporate office, did not hear back from them, and that, we are going to take it down if it's not removed by X date. If that's your decision as a board.
Send it as an email, keep it in writing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is, give them like a week. You
Yeah,
wanna take it down, we take it down.
If,
So, they took permission to put it in our property, so you already have things in my property.
Put it there, house is still building.
It's not my problem, we just take it down. The other question, what do we get with the second entrance, the damage with the builders, did you reach out to them?
so I was working with the legal office. I don't know if there was any update on that.
So we still need photos and invoices to support the demand letter. Once we have that, we can issue it out though.
Yeah, you really have it.
Well, so the invoices, as I understand it, when we had the first, I'll call it big bang with the landscaper, when the US Lawn came in. So my only question on that is, and I can probably work offline with this, is it in totality those invoices or?
There's 2 actually projects, one of them is for mulch and one of them for landscaping.
Okay,
When we say 2 projects, it's including the amenity center and over there. So basically, you're gonna split it, because half is here and the other half is over there. And the big irrigation issue, they damaged over there as well, so split
Okay.
it on 2, to be fair.
so I'm gonna review those early invoices. If it's okay with the board, I know Rabah is very involved when those invoices were generated. If I can work with him just to make sure I get them the right info. Is that okay with everybody?
That's fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Pretty much that entire back entrance, they damaged the irrigation and everything else, so it impacted that whole area. So.
Got it. Okay, fair enough. So going back to the sign, if you do want me to send them an email, give them a deadline, if you just want to make a motion to that effect.
I motion it.
Okay. And is that with a week timeline?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, is inland that's one of the builders we're gonna send the bill to, right?
Yeah.
So you can say, hey, you want your sign?
Yeah.
We want some money.
Well,
Otherwise.
and by the way, when I first reached out, I did mention that we have said, that we do consider signs, but we do charge a $500 fee per month. So they have that information as well. It's, if they came back, it's something you all could consider, of course.
Yeah, when you talk to them, tell them we have a wall.
All right, so we had a motion. Did anybody second that motion?
I second.
Gotcha. Any additional discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we'll get that taken care of. So we're into supervisor requests and general audience comments. So I'll ask first if there's any additional supervisor requests at this time. We can go around the table. Anything, sir?
No.
I know I had sent something to you, Andy, about the violation process, especially now. I think the board needs to look at talking about the violation process and how Kai is going to transition into doing that, so that way we know how it can be handled, how the camera system, especially Kevin has stepped down from that, how all that's gonna go forward, how you have to do stuff going forward.
Yeah.
How that process is gonna start being maintained and all the aspects of the violation process.
Yeah. So, generally speaking, and this is pretty much the way that it works in most communities where we have this sort of role, is if a resident or if there's damage or something and we're notified of it, then we try to track it down through the camera system. And if we can identify the individual, say for example by a card swipe, then we would look that up and of course reach out to them. Nobody from my office is necessarily going to physically know anybody by looking at them, so that's the one gap. And I also have to be realistic. If somebody says there's, I'm trying to think of an example, I don't know, a kicked out screen and it happened sometime in the last 10 days, there's going to be some limitations, right? Our staff definitely does that, but, and I've mentioned this before, essentially, for the amenity manager, it's $10,000 a year. That works out to approximately 5 hours a week. We do a lot more than that, hours-wise, which I'm fine with, but I want everybody to be cognizant of that we have to be realistic about, what we go after, so to speak. But that's kind of the plan, when we receive stuff in, and if we have any challenges with it for whatever reason, we'll bring it up to the board, like, hey, we're getting questions like this or requests like that. It's kind of like the QR codes, right? Like over time, we might find that because there's QR codes, we're getting, tons of HOA requests. And I'll just keep you guys in the loop on that, and we can kind of, as we need to adjust, we adjust.
All right, you know what? I have another question,
Yep.
I think the best thing moving forward, as I said, when it comes to the proposals, that we talk to Andy, print them, they can be signed, and sent right away next year to the vendors. It was, as you know, we all know there's a lot of projects that were holding forever, nothing was done, and how, this is the other thing, is how we're gonna handle the payment. Especially if we work with a lot of small businesses, we hurt them so bad.
Yeah.
Or we're just like happened with the floor guy and stuff, like how are we gonna do that moving forward?
So the one good aspect, there's a couple of things to work on here or to make everybody aware of. So technically, and I recognize small businesses, but in the most technical sense, when somebody does work in the district, these are, basically net 30 payments. And I understand contractors want it 2 minutes after it's done, and we do try to be as quick as possible, and we've come up short on that at times. However, we also have at times contractors emailing us every day from the day they're done the project, not just your district in general. So the one good aspect that I can tell you is we switched our accounts payable system. We switched it starting April 1st. We used to use a system where we had checks cut out of another state. The system processes checks go out, it would take 7 to 10 days, realistically, somewhere around 15 days for people to get checks. We now have a different system. It's a little bit better in general, but the key thing is we are printing out checks at our office. So basically, we're printing checks every day. So that, number one, should speed up things pretty quick. The real key to all of this, though, and it's your district, it's other districts, is making sure up front that every time, and this is on us, right? Every time a vendor comes into the district and does work, we need their certificate of insurance and their W-9. Once we have that, and we can enter it into the accounts payable system, it makes it a lot quicker. Sometimes we get delayed because they give us the wrong insurance, or they, all of those type things. But as long as we do those things, it should be pretty quick.
My concern is that if we work, basically it's the same vendors, they're giving us good deals.
Mm-hmm.
You don't wanna lose somebody like that.
I get it.
So if we can, let's say, I don't know how I don't have a law, but who knows down the road, is there any way to say, hey, Andy, we need to take care of this one?
Yeah, well, so, again, we're going to go with paying things as quick as possible, and I think that's going to get better. But if there are particular sensitivities that it's like, hey, this is, a small business or something, we can always, I can get in there daily and push things through. So, certainly let me know, especially if we have concerns. Happy to do that.
You guys do ACH payment?
We do. We do. We have to be careful with the ACHs. Recently, there's been a real big uptick in fraud with ACHs. We actually just had a very large one for one of my other districts, and it was pretty tricky how they did it. So we're real careful with it. What we do, we have confirmation. If somebody wants an ACH, we get their information, and then we verbally confirm with them on the phone to make sure we're dealing with the actual person, because really people mimic email addresses, and you can imagine. But yes, the short answer is we can do that, and the more that we can do that with regular vendors or repeat vendors, it's going to help, because that makes the payment real quick. So we'll work on that.
Only other question I have is, I know this isn't the first time you've talked about scope of work and especially the amenity aspect. I know you guys haven't been on a year, but are you going to be looking at raising your fees or bringing proposals to increase the cost of service or anything for the amount of work you've done in some areas?
No, it's a learning experience for us, so I recognize some aspect of our costs are due to us learning the district. So no increase for next year. What I would say is, if we get to a point, so I'll look at it two ways, field and amenity services. If we get to a point where just logistically you guys need a lot more work,
Attention.
yeah, then we can come to the board and talk to you about not raising the rate, but saying, look, if you really want, we can, do these extra 10 hours a week, or do as many hours as you want. Here's the hourly rate. You guys control the cost. I'm not a big fan in general of flat rates, just because, it doesn't give the guys the ability to control it, and as well, it doesn't give us the ability to present to you that, hey, we're actually spending 30 hours. So I think it's a fairer way to handle it. And as those come up, I'll just talk to you guys about it. So.
He's got Kevin will save us a lot of money.
Okay. No other supervisor comments? Okay, so we'll move to audience comments. These are general comments. Same rules as earlier. I've got the timer. I'll wave when you've got like 30 seconds left. And if you can try to keep to 3 minutes, and I'll start from the front and work my way back. So I'll just look for anybody raise their hand as I... Yes, sir.
I know we're not asking questions or making comments.
If you can state your name, and you can ask questions at the end if the board has any response, they would respond. So go right ahead.
Yes, the board member, I live on Merkar Court, so I guess I was asking for clarification from the lawyer talking about not a rule change with respect to board members' virtual attendance versus the dial-in versus actually what's been facilitated versus how it's actually operating. I know this has been our conversation for a while, but I think a clearing of the air of exactly what is being allowed, what is not, what changed, what not, from the board, I think would be helpful to the residents, because there's a lot of misinformation out there about this side and that side. And those of us that work until 7, 8 o'clock at night, obviously, virtual is much, much easier for those of us. I happen to be on PTO today, so I'm able to come. This is the first time I'm able to come to in 18 months because of my work from home work, and I've got a global team. So if that can get clarified so that I can figure out how I can be more participant, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Do you want to hold your comments till we take care of everybody's comments? Sure. Just to be fair to everybody, if you don't mind. Sir, ma'am, anything?
I just wrote down some notes.
Can you just state your name?
Darlene Bob,
Thank you, darling.
live on Windless Cove. Sidewalks, I heard that. I was wondering if someone caught the one that's not down from you, Rabah, between me and you. There's a big crack and I fallen over. It's really bad. Wanted to make sure that one got caught. I've noticed since I've been coming in this building, like a mold smell, and then I was cued into the AC thing. So I'm wondering if maybe there's some mold in the vents. I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay.
And then the idea of a flag, I like that idea. I also had the thought that who's going to put it up and take it down every day, or are we going to install lights? Because it's my understanding it has to be
There's a
lit
code.
if it's left off at night.
Okay. Anything else, Darlene? Okay. Sir, did you have anything? Okay. Gentlemen, anything, sir? Go right ahead.
Burgess, 8957 Windless Cove. I'm late because I had to work. We had a notice of violation to my other home that I have in the community, which is 8614 Merkar Court. I want to address the communications about violations. When I received the letter dated April 26th, it specified that there were prior notices. I never received one, and I have a lieutenant who I understand was here earlier, Kevin Graham. So I'm going to ask that I want to continue to know if my tenant is, or anyone living in the house, is violating any of the community rules, as well as the tenant. That is very, very helpful. And the last thing I'd like to say is, in terms of security cameras are on the agenda again. My question is, were the last or the initial installation of the security cameras bidded out for proposals from multiple vendors, or was it awarded to a single vendor? I think that's important as we think about expanding the scope of the existing system. And along those lines, I'd like to understand clearly as a security professional what the intent of the cameras are, what public areas are you looking at, and the purpose. I think residents should know in terms of whether cameras are going to be posted on light poles or just in the amenity center. Again, I need to understand why and what the value proposition is for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving to the next couch row. Going along there. Gentlemen at the table. Jim?
Hello, my name is Jim Casement. I live on Merkar Court. First of all, I want to congratulate the board on finishing this under 2 hours. I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that the chair's not here, but obviously we need to do that. But it's great when you guys take consideration of our time and actually get this meeting done on 2 hours. So I appreciate that. Second, I want Mr. Miller brought up the issue about the rules and the procedures. I'm going to encourage every one of the board members to actually read the Eagle Pointe CDD rules. Because the attorney, Michelle, and the attorney sitting there said that it's a policy. I differ with it. I'm a licensed attorney in Florida. I read the rules, I read the statute. board has violated many of the rules, even Pointe CDD. In fact, I'll tell the board to look at a post that was done by Ronald, kind of laid out the different scenarios and the different areas of the rules that were violated, specifically with taking away virtual access for everybody at the last meeting. So I would ask that you look at that, and I already asked you to reverse that decision because it was wrong. It was clearly wrong. Second thing I want to talk about, I called out your behavior, Rabah, in the beginning of this meeting. I want to call it out again, okay? Because you're asking Andy who's given the FOIA request. That shouldn't be done. It's like you're signaling out residences for doing what they legally have the right to do, as well as the petition. And your behavior towards Supervisor Hathaway and his wife, your disdain for them is so obvious. And it's absolutely disgraceful. Look at you looking around, I can't even look at me. You're disgraceful in your behavior to them. But more importantly than that, I'm gonna call out the other Martin and Ron, I'm gonna call you out. Because you see the behavior that he's doing against Williams, sitting to your right, and neither one of you, you're sitting on your hands, and neither one of you say a word. Ron, I know he's your neighbor, I know you're friends with him, but you need to call him out, because it's disgraceful what he's doing in this thing. The other thing, last meeting, I said that it's inappropriate for this board to have a shade session based on cameras. That should be out in the open. It's inappropriate, and I'm calling you legal counsel out. You should not be having a shade session on the expansion of the security cameras for this community. We're entitled to know what you're doing. And besides that, you're talking about camera locations. You already posted it 2 or 3 meetings ago,
right.
exactly where you're going to put the cameras. So,
Thanks, Jim.
thank you.
Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Leah Overend, 1174 Moonsail. First of all, I want to thank you guys for what you do. I know this is a very stressful situation constantly. I appreciate this officer being here tonight because I know multiple women who will no longer come to this meeting because they feel unsafe and uncomfortable because certain people feel that it's appropriate to try to intimidate them. And I think that's completely inappropriate. And that is the reason for this gentleman being here tonight. I think there's a lot of accusations that are consistently being thrown around. And we all have evidence of this behavior from the last meeting. So, especially for it to be someone who is in the legal community making these accusations and not recognizing their own behavior, it's very frustrating. So again, I see both sides of the fence with a lot of things y'all talk about. That is one thing I cannot let go. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, anything? Okay, did I miss anybody? All right, so board, if you had any follow-up comments, and I know you start. I cut you off when you were talking. Okay. All right. If there's no additional comments, so we do have the shade session for security camera upgrades on the agenda. I didn't know if the board. I know your chair was interested, involved as well. I didn't know if you wanted to do that tonight or table it. Okay. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would take us to adjournment if anybody would like to make a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Meeting is adjourned.